Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvanam. Okay, all right. So today we will go through all the sutras. So please be patient with me today. There might not be any time for discussion, but we will go through Sutra 79 through the last one. Okay, so we are on Sutra 79. Sarvada, Sarvada, Sarvabhavena, Sarvabhavena, Nishchintitehi, Nishchintitehi, Bhagavan eva bhajaniyaha, Bhagavan eva bhajaniyaha. So this Sutra 79 is a really beautiful one because it encompasses the whole thing about bhakti, right? What is the instruction of Narada Bhakti Sutra? Now we're coming to the concluding verses. What is the instruction? The first instruction is Bhagavan eva bhajaniyaha. Bhagavan means that Bhagavan, that truth, that God, only Bhagavan, bhajaniya, must be sought, must be worshipped. Now, first of all, the truth is we can only worship Bhagavan because Bhagavan is all. It's not that there's only one God. It is that there is only God. So actually, anything that we worship is only God. So when it says Bhagavan eva bhajaniya, worship only God, or God should only be worshipped, God alone can be worshipped because God alone is. But what this also means is worship God as God. When we're thinking about the world, when we're thinking about people, when we're thinking about everything, see that Bhagavan, see that goodness, see that divinity in them. Bhagavan eva bhajaniya. Kada, when, sarvada, all the time. When we're in happy times, it's easy to be pleased with God and to say, thank God, I'm so happy. We feel very, very joyous and grateful to Bhagavan. When we're in distress, when we need help, it's also easy to think about Bhagavan. Bhagavan, please help me, please save me, because we don't know who else we can call. Bhagavan is the only sure-cut insurance, right? All the other insurance, when you call them, they'll say, oh, this insurance doesn't cover this, and this insurance doesn't cover that. So insurance has all kinds of flaws, all kinds of little things that they don't do. But Bhagavan is always there. So it's easy to call on Bhagavan in distress. But when we go through traumatic experiences, it's hard to call on Bhagavan. So, recently, we heard of somebody who heard the daughter, the 4-year-old child, she saw her father drown. And, her father was a worshipper of Hanumanji. And so the child also used to worship Hanumanji and think about Hanumanji. But after this incident, when her father drowned and it actually passed away, she couldn't really bring herself to worship Hanumanji or worship God or call out to any God. because she felt like, how is this happening? How is it possible that you lose someone like that in your life? And she's just a child. So she stopped worshiping God. So when it comes to these times where we lose someone we love, all of a sudden, sometimes a parent loses their child, all of a sudden. Sometimes a child loses their parent very early on and they can't understand it. And the first thing they do is, I don't believe in God. So this sarvada means when I'm happy, think about Bhagavan. When I'm in distress, also okay, think about Bhagavan. But when I also go through these experiences, hold on to Bhagavan. Don't lose faith in Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the karma phala data. Bhagavan is not impartial, that I only give this to this jiva and that to that jiva. Everything's coming by the law of karma. Everything's coming by the law of karma to us. And so Bhagavan is, don't say that Bhagavan is helpless by the law of karma. Bhagavan's law himself is that he doesn't interfere with karma. Doesn't interfere with karma. Karma just has to happen as it happens. But can prayers help? Surely they can help, because prayer is also an action. Prayer is also an action, so that will also yield result. So sarvada means at all times. Sarva bhavena. Bhava means way. So in all ways. So in what ways? In all relationships. And we will see relationships in the next few verses. In all kinds of relationships that we have. We can see Bhagavan as a friend, as a guru, as a beloved, in all ways. We can see Bhagavan as our Ishta Devata, as one form of Bhagavan. We can see Bhagavan as the whole world. The world is Bhagavan. We can see Bhagavan as our own self. So when we say, Shanti 3 times, it's because we ask for peace. The first Shanti is that let there be peace in the Adidevic forces. Adidevic forces means the phenomenal forces. There shouldn't be any rain or thunder or flood or fire, anything like that to prevent us from studying. The second Shanti is peace from the people around us, Adi Bhautika. Because we could be in our own temple, our own apartment, but the people next door could be playing such loud music that we cannot study. And Adhyatmika means everything outside could be at complete peace, but the mind may be so distressed and disturbed. So peace also at Adhyatmika. So here, Sarva Bhavena means in all these Adidevika, Adibhautika, Adhyatmika, in all the divine forces of rain, of thunder, fire, water, air, see Bhagavan in that. In the people around us, Adibhutas, see Bhagavan in them. And in myself also, see Bhagavan there. So in all ways, see God. God is not just in living beings. God is not just in humans. God is in every single thing. God expresses in animals, in plants, and even everything, a book, a table, a piece of paper. We keep everything in its place because it is also Bhagavan. It's also Bhagavan. So Sarva Bhavena in every way, in any form. So worship Bhagavan in any form that's dear to you. That's completely fine. But Bhagavan eva bhajaniya. Bhagavan must be worshipped. And he says, Nischintitehi means free from worry. So this worry comes in Narada Bhakti Sutra so many times. That worry is a sign of lack of faith of a bhakta. When we worship Bhagavan, the first commandment is worship Bhagavan alone. Bhagavan alone must be worshipped. When? At all times. How? In all ways. With what attitude? Free from worry. So if I am worshipping, then what does that mean? I'm free from worry. There's no worry. There's no worry about how is this going to happen? What's this going to be like? There's not a single ounce of worry, not a single drop of worry, nothing. Because one's surrender and one's worship is so full that one is free. This is called Bhakti. There's no iota of worry. Nischintitehi. Huh? And what are we worried about? In life, there is no option but to surrender. There's no option but to surrender. Now, surrender doesn't mean that we don't do anything. Huh? Don't mistake it as surrender. That means you don't do anything, you just sit back and whatever happens, happens. No, that's not called surrender. Surrender means I surrender my will to God's will. That's what surrender means. I surrender my will to God's will. Why? Because God's will win. You and I think that if we want something to happen, we can actually control and make it happen? Of course not. There's so many factors. There's the weather. There's other people's attitudes. There's the news. There's all kinds of things that could happen. Too many factors. So if you and I think that what we want to happen and how we want to happen, it will happen, better luck next life. It will never happen. Bhagavan's will always happen. Bhagavan's will win anyway. So why are we fooling ourselves thinking we can control anything? Huh? Just surrender. That's it. If we surrender in the beginning itself, we will find so much peace. Other times we fight until the end, and then finally in the end we surrender anyway. So why go through all of that? Why? So Bhagavan eva bhajaniya. Bhagavan alone must be worshipped. This is what Naradaji says. Now, in the next sutra, I want to worship Bhagavan, but it is taking so long. Why is it taking so long for Bhagavan to reveal himself to me? And what is obstructing me? So Sutra 80. Sakirtyamanaha Shigram eva Avirbhavati Anubhavayati cha Bhaktan Saha he kirtyamanaha. When he is invoked, Shigrameva Avirbhavati. He speedily, Shigram eva indeed Avirbhavati. He speedily indeed reveals himself. Anubhavayati cha bhaktan, and makes the devotee realize him. So when invoked, he indeed reveals himself and makes the devotee realize his absolute nature. Now here, kirtyamana, kirtan. Kirtan, we hear this word kirtan. Kirtan means singing, praising, invoking Bhagavan. The way we invoke Bhagavan is called kirtan. Now this kirtan, it starts with letter K. In our lives, we have 3 kukaras. Means there are 3 Ks which we should get rid of. One is called Kamini, the second Kanchana, third is Kirti. So I'll translate. We'll go in this order. Kanchana. Kanchana first is wealth. Then Kamini. Kamini means pleasure, relationships. Then Kirti. Kirti means fame. Now these three, to let go of these three, then we should do kirtan. So that kirtan dissolves these three or sublimates these three desires. See, the first desire that comes into our life is wealth, kanchana. So when we're, let's say, when we were in high school, right? High school, we want to get into a good college. Why? Because we want to be independent. We want to make a lot of money. We want to get our own apartments and do what we want. We don't want anybody to tell us what to do, how to do. We want to be financially independent, so nobody has a say in our life. I can live how I want. And I can travel to wherever I want to go. I can be in any state, any country, any place. That's why we want money. We want that kind of wealth. This is a desire we have. Then what happens? After that desire comes, that wealth, and we get some wealth, then I want a family. Now I have this stability and I want to share this with somebody. I want to build a family. So then the next task is, now we start looking for somebody. And if we are fortunate, then we find someone. If we are fortunate, then we find someone to be with and spend our lives with and everything like that. But it doesn't stop there. One more ka is going to come. Kirti, which is fame. I want to do something for the world. I want to do something great for the world. I want to be appreciated, respected, loved. I want to be, I want to be adored. We want that feeling. And so our life goes in these 3 Ks only. In the beginning, we keep thinking about wealth. Then we keep thinking about relationships. Then we keep thinking about fame. And so then where is the time to think about Bhagavan? Because remember, when we have a desire, any desire, it just takes away your mind fully. It takes away the mind. The mind cannot think or do anything else. A desire is like something that will just push us. So here it says that now amidst all of these things, Kirtyamam, invoke Bhagavan. Invoke Bhagavan. So slowly, that desire will come to see, want, love, care for, be with Bhagavan. Bring Bhagavan into that. When these desires, when we start getting these desires and we start understanding that, hey, something is still missing, that desire for Bhagavan comes. So Kirtyamana, keep Bhagavan there, keep singing his glory, his name, keep him there. And when we keep him there, we open our hearts to him, then Shigram Eva Vir Bhavati, he comes quickly. Bhagavan is as though been waiting in our hearts for so long. When is this Bhakta gonna call? When is this Bhakta gonna call? And then so when we call, Bhagavan is so ready to just like, yeah, so ready. I was just waiting for you to call me. Shigrameva, he comes. We don't need any Wi-Fi connection for Bhagavan. We don't need to dial 800 number and stay on hold for so long. You don't need to go anywhere for Bhagavan. Shigrameva. Shigram, because Bhagavan coming to us or us realizing Bhagavan it's quicker than the blink of an eye. It's only recognition, right? It's only realizing that Bhagavan is my very self. It's so fast, so fast. The realization of God is so quick. It's a preparation that takes all the time in the world. Huh? But to just, if I feel like I lost this mala, to just see, oh, I got it. That's so quick. In the Upanishads, it says that quicker than a person mounting on a horse, one can realize the truth. So, Shigrameva, because Bhagavan is our very own self. There's absolutely no distance. There's absolutely no time. There's absolutely no otherness. So that is why it's very quick. He reveals himself and he makes us realize him. Once these desires are dissolved or sublimated. So therefore, what is the truth of all of this? Verse, Sutra 81. Trisatyasya bhaktireva gariyasi Trisatyasya. Of the three truths, bhaktireva gariyasi. Devotion alone is the greatest. Devotion alone is the greatest. So, Trisatya here means, it could mean two things. One, it could mean of the three paths. And two, it could mean of God, of that truth. Of the three paths or of that truth, bhaktihi, devotion, eva, alone, gariyasi is the greatest. So if we take the first meaning of the three paths, bhakti alone is the greatest. Why is it saying here? Because this is a bhakti shastra. So we must remember that whenever we're studying a bhakti shastra, bhakti will be praised and extolled. Whenever we're studying jnana shastra, jnana will be praised, extolled. But what's being praised about bhakti is it's easily accessible to all. And we had seen this before, that anybody can take up bhakti. Even a little child, we cannot ask any little child to do atma anatma viveka. What is reality? What is unreality? What is the difference between the two? We cannot ask any child to do that. But we can ask the child to say, Om Namah Shivaya. Simple. It's accessible by anybody. Anybody can love. Not anybody can think deeply. That's difficult. But anybody can love. Or this can also mean Paramatma. Trisatyasya can mean Paramatma, which means that truth, which is the witness of waking, dream, and deep sleep, and the one that's beyond that. That truth in the past, present, future, and the one that's beyond that. The truth in the gross body, subtle body, causal body, and the one that's beyond that. The truth in the sattva guna, rajasic guna, tamasic guna, and the one that's beyond that. So bhakti towards that Bhagavan is the greatest, is the highest. Therefore, Bhagavan alone is to be sought. Now, what does he do in Sutra 82? Here, he explains 11 different modes of developing that relationship with Bhagavan. See, the truth is that there's a less relationship. That we and Bhagavan are one in essence. That is the reality. But in order to get there, we live in the world of duality. We feel duality. We experience duality. So these relationships are prescribed to sort of get us beyond the relationship itself. It is like the bhakta merging into Bhagavan. So let us see the relationships and then we will explore it a little bit more. Sutra 82. Gunamahatmya Sakti, Gunamahatmya Sakti, Rupa Sakti, Rupa Sakti, Puja Sakti, Puja Sakti, Smarana Sakti, Smarana Sakti, Dasya Sakti, Dasya Sakti, Sakhya Sakti, Sakhya Sakti, Vatsalya Sakti, Vatsalya Sakti, Kanta Sakti, Kanta Sakti, Atmanivedana Sakti, Atmanivedana Sakti, Tanmayata Sakti, Tanmayata Sakti, Paramavihara Sakti, Paramavihara Sakti, or Paramaviraha Sakti, Paramaviraha Sakti, Rupa Ekadha Api, Rupa Ekadha Api, Ekadashadha Bhavati, Ekadashadha Bhavati. So here Naraji says, see, when one has to become one with something, to become one with someone, how does that happen? It happens first because we think we are different from each other. First we think we are very different from each other. And as long as we think we are different from each other, there's always a distance. There's always a distance. We feel like, okay, this is yours, this is mine. That's your things, this is my thing. We feel there's a distance. But when we start to cultivate a relationship with that person, with that being, then we understand that, okay, this is not that's yours and this is mine, this is ours. Together, this is ours. Whether it's a parent, child, whether it's a lover and a beloved, whether it's a friend and a friend, when we start to cultivate a relationship, okay, this is ours, these are our things, these are our possessions. And then slowly, when we become very, very close, then there's no difference anymore. We feel like there's no difference anymore. When we think of ourselves, automatically we think of the other person. It's like we can't even think of ourselves without thinking of the other person. This is what happens with a lover and their beloved. When you think of yourself, then you automatically think of the other person. Or a parent and a child. When you think of yourself, you automatically think of another person. See, when people get married, right? What kind of apartment to get, where to move to, you automatically have to think about two of you. How many bedrooms, what to get, should we have a car, should we not have a car, where should we live, what neighborhood, where is your workplace, where is my workplace, all of these things. Always you're going to think of two, because that two has become one. And then when a child comes, then again you have to think, you cannot just think of yourself, you have to think all of the beloved, of the child also. I want to get this nice handbag, but can it carry Pampers? No, then you cannot get that handbag. I want to drive this kind of car, but no, can it hold this baby car seat? No, then you can't get that kind of car, right? So the more we become close to the other person, the more we are like one. We're like one, and we cannot think of ourselves without thinking of another person. And this is only possible when we develop a relationship. So in the path of bhakti, a relationship is so important because it makes us feel that oneness. It brings Bhagavan very close to our hearts. Otherwise, it is this is Bhagavan, this is me, very, very far. But when we make a relationship with that Bhagavan, very close, very close. How do we make a relationship? The word here is called asakti. Asakti means love. Love. So the first one is guna mahatmya asakti. Love for glorifying the qualities of Bhagavan. So whether it's listening to his stories, singing his bhajans, whatever it is, but the love for glorifying Bhagavan. That I am somebody who adores you. This is a relationship. I adore you. I praise you. Second is Rupa Asakti. Rupa Asakti means love for Bhagavan's form. Just the ones who would love looking at Bhagavan's form. Any of Bhagavan's forms, just looking at it, just thinking about it, just keeping it close to their hearts. Puja Asakti, the one who loves Bhagavan, to worship Bhagavan, loves to offer patram, pushpam, phalam, whatever it is to offer to Bhagavan. There are people, before they eat, they must always offer to Bhagavan. Smarana Asakti, those people who like to just think of Bhagavan's name. and just remember his name, just call out his name, think of his name. Dasya asakti, those who love to serve. There are people who love to serve, who love to volunteer and say, this is for Bhagavan. Everything is for Bhagavan. They take that dasya asakti, that whatever my work is, this is only for Bhagavan. Then we have sakya asakti, friendship. So sometimes, especially with children, we say, who is Bhagavan? Your friend. Bhagavan is someone that we can talk to and we can tell anything to. We would develop that friendship with Bhagavan. Like Krishna is your friend, Hanumanji is your friend. Develop that sakya bhava, that friendship with Bhagavan. Anything and everything you can tell him. Then vatsalya asana. Some have that love for Bhagavan as their own child, that my child is Bhagavan. So when a daughter is born in the house, then she is Lakshmi Devi. She has come as Devi. Devi has come to my house. When a son is born, Narayan has come to the house. So that's also a very beautiful bhava. Then Kanta Asakti, Bhagavan is the beloved. Bhagavan is like how the gopis felt for Lord Krishna. Atma Nivedana Asakti, a desire for offering every single thing, our own selves to Bhagavan. And Tanmayata Asakti means that love for oneness with Bhagavan, just understanding our oneness with Bhagavan, knowing that we are innately one. There's absolutely no difference. And Paramaviraha Sakti means those who feel so ached and pained by the separation with Bhagavan. So in this way, Bhakti is such a treat because there's so many modes of expression. And it's not like one adopts the same mode all the time. In the beginning of life, it could be Bhagavan is my friend. Then at some point, it could be Bhagavan is my beloved. Then it could be Bhagavan is my guru. Any of these modes one can adapt to develop that relationship with Bhagavan. Advaita is a very beautiful path. Our path, and at the end of the day, everything that we are studying is to come to Advaita Vedanta only, come to that realization that we are one with Bhagavan only in essence. But sometimes, when we are troubled, when we are disturbed, when we are having a hard time, sometimes it's very hard to think, I am actually beyond the body. I am actually beyond the mind. It's very hard to think that sometimes. And if it gets tough to inquire, to think deeply, then just surrender. Have this bhakti. Have this bhakti there by your side. Because as I said, sometimes Advaita is not as easy as what we think it should be. We can all, be very strong with our knowledge. But at the end of the day, when things hit, how do we respond? So if we have knowledge and if we have devotion, then anything can be faced with grace and with balance. So this is the idea, is to have that relationship with Bhagavan. Don't keep Bhagavan just so far. Have that kind of closeness with Bhagavan. Then Narada now says that this Narad Bhakti Sutra, is declared by so many great masters. This is Sutra 83. Ityevam vadanti janajalpa nirbhayaha ekamataha kumara vyasa shuka shandilya Garga, Garga, Vishnu Kaundinya, Vishnu Kaundinya, Shesha, Shesha, Uddhava, Uddhava, Aruni, Aruni, Bali, Bali, Hanumat, Hanumat, Vibhishana Adhayaha, Vibhishana Adhayaha, Bhaktyacharyaha, Bhaktyacharyaha. So it says here, iti evam vadanti. Thus they do declare. Who are these people? Bhaktyacharya, those who taught the path of devotion. And how are they? Jana jalpa nirbhaya. Nirbhaya means they are free of fear from what? Jana jalpa. They are free from fear of people's prattle. So these bhakti acharyas, it doesn't matter what people say, this is what they declare. And they declare boldly. See, who are those people who can declare something boldly? Now, those who are utterly convinced of something, they can declare boldly. But more so, those who have experienced for themselves, they can declare boldly. So these bhakti acharyas, they have given us this gift of bhakti fearlessly because they themselves have experienced it. And they can explain the path so clearly because they've been through it. Only somebody who has really walked and been in the path can explain to us step by step what's there. So if you want to know how to make dal chawal, now who will you ask? Somebody who knows very clearly how to make it. If we ask somebody who doesn't know how to make it, it's so clear. Because they'll maybe pause, they'll stop, they'll be like, I think you should do this, or maybe you should do that, or I'm not sure. Yeah, they cannot declare boldly. It was not clear. But somebody who's walked the path, who knows it, who lives it, seamlessly, easily, clearly, they can just see it. Like these great acharyas. And what did they say? So, Ekamataha, they are of unanimous opinion. Who are they? Kumara, Sanat Kumaras. So the Sanat Kumaras are the brothers of Naraji. They are the brothers of Naraji, and they taught Naraji. In Chandogya Upanishad, Naraji said, I am burning here. I am in sorrow, and I want to cross this sorrow. And so the Sanat Kumaras gave him the knowledge of the truth, the infinite Bhuma. Yove Bhuma Tat Sukham. Said that joy, bliss, Ananda can only be found in the infinite. So Sanat Kumaras are the ones who taught Narada. Vyasa, Narada is the one who told Vyasa, Vyasa, now you write Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you remember in the beginning, Vyasa was feeling very, very anxious. He had compiled the Upanishads and the Vedas, compiled everything, but yet he felt very empty. And so Naraji instructed him and said, write Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, of course, we know Shuka. Shuka is Vyasa's son, and he's the one who narrates Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Raja. Shandilya and Garga are the rishis that we have seen in Narada Bhakti Sutra itself, and they have prescribed paths or ways to have devotion to Bhagavan. So if you want to see in your book, it's Sutra 17. Sutra 17, Garga Rishi says, Kathadishu iti. Bhakti is listening to the stories and glories of the Lord. And then Shandilya Rishi is in Sutra number 18. And he says, Atmaratya Virodhe Neti. Means Bhakti is without hindrance to the constant reveling in the bliss of the self. And then, of course, we have Vishnu and Kaundinya here are smritis. They are smritis, means like texts on bhakti. And then Shesha is Adi Shesha. And Uddhav, we know Uddhav ji is Sri Krishna's dear friend. Aruni here refers to either Aruni from our Upanishads, or Gurudev also says Nimbarkacharya. Raja Bali, we've also seen his story, Hanuman and Vibhishana. So we've seen the story of Raja Bali, where the Vamana avatar asks him for 3 steps of land. And with 1 step, Vamana avatar takes over the earth. Next step, heavens. And the 3rd step, where does he go? On Bali's head, right? So that reminds us, when we give 3 minutes to Bhagavan, then he can take over our whole world and our head also. Huh? And of course, Hanumanji and Vibhishanji. So Naraji says, now let us conclude this beautiful text. It says, I'm going to sum up the entire Narada Bhakti Sutra. Sometimes when we go through a text, we feel like, oh, what did we study? 84 sutras. I don't remember what we studied. I can't begin to even think about it. So here, Narad Rishi says, don't worry, I'll tell you exactly what we studied. Ya idam Narada proktam Shivanushasanam Vishvasiti Shraddhate Sabhaktiman bhavati Sapreshtam labhate Sapreshtam labhate iti. Yaha, the one who, idam Narada proktam, this exposition by Narada, Shivanushasanam, taught and commanded by Lord Shiva, Vishvasiti, the one who believes in it, Shraddhate, has faith in it, Saha Bhaktiman Bhavati, becomes endowed with the love of God. Saha Preshtam Labhate, he attains this objective, one attains their beloved, Sapreshtam Labhate iti. So, Yaha means the seeker, the bhakta, the devotee, the one who develops themselves. And idam means here bhakti. This bhakti. Now, what is this bhakti? So remember, idam is sutra number 2. What is bhakti? The definition of bhakti, sutra number 2. Sa tu asmin parama prema rupa. It's in my page 10. Bhakti means it's love towards the higher. So when we say love towards the higher, how do I know that what I'm loving or who I'm loving is higher? Because that being uplifts me, expands me to love all. We say Matra Bhakti, Desha Bhakti, Bhagavad Bhakti means bhakti towards our parents, towards our country, towards God, towards Guru. Why? Because when we have love towards the higher, they make us expansive, they make us love all. They make us independent of them also. When the higher, the love towards the higher is the one that makes us independent of them. The higher is the one who makes us become one with them. That's why Gurudev said bhakti is that rising in love, not falling in love. Love for the lower, when we have love for the lower, they kind of restrict us to loving them only. And the relationship becomes very passive aggressive, becomes very dependent, becomes all about give and take, becomes all about counting this and counting that. It is and it's very agitating to the mind. And that's why it's called falling in love. We fall. Fall. Bhakti is very different. It is rising in love. So that love towards the higher, that is called bhakti. Ya idam bhakti, right? Narada proktam. says here Narada Proktam, means that this is said or stated by Narada Rishi, but also by so many other rishis. And from Sutras 15 to Sutra 20, we see the different rishis who've told us what bhakti means to them. So for some, it is puja, for some, it is katha, stories. For some, it's offering every single thing to Bhagavan. For some, it is, that pain that we feel in separation from Bhagavan. So there are different ways of bhakti, and it has been stated by our bhakti acharyas. Shiva Anushasanam. Shiva Anushasanam can mean it's taught by Shiva, Bhagavan Shiva, as stated by the other commentators. But also Shiva means auspicious. And it's auspicious because in Sutra 58, said that bhakti is saulabhyam, means it's easy to practice compared to other yogas. And we saw this in a few sutras ago, that it's easily accessible. Anybody can come to bhakti. It is, beyond any language, beyond any words. And all that is required is the love for Bhagavan. Even if we can't talk, we can't worship, we can't pray, crying is also bhakti. So bhakti is one of those beautiful paths that's easily accessible and available to all. That's why it's Shiva, it's auspicious. Vishvasiddhi. Vishvasiddhi means the one who believes in this. So here, we are reminded of Sutra 76, where it says, this is on my page 208, it says, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani Tad Uddhodaka Karmani Karaniyani. Says that the one who actually reflects on these treatises of devotion. So bhakti is not just to, it doesn't mean don't think. It means actually think, actually reflect. The one who has conviction about this bhakti, who believes in it because they've reflected on it, they've thought about it. Taking one shastra and just seeing what that shastra really means. And Shraddhate. Shraddhate means the one who has faith in this bhakti. So if you remember Sutra 61, here it said, Chintana Karya, because Nivedita. Faith. Bhakti also means that devotee has faith in Bhagavan. No chinta, no worries. And if something comes, offer it to Bhagavan. And once we've offered it to Bhagavan, what does it mean? We can't take it back anymore. Oh, Bhagavan, I've offered this worry to you. Now I cannot take it back. You worry for me and let me just worship. Somebody asked me, when I offered the worry to Bhagavan, I had nothing to do. I didn't know what to do with myself. There you go. Then you engage in worship, engage in seva, engage in all of these things. Saha Bhaktiman. So the one who believes, right, and has faith in this auspicious path of bhakti, which is taught by Naraji, taught by great acharyas, they become true bhaktas. They become true bhaktas. Who is a bhaktiman? A bhaktiman, if we see, is in sutra number 54. A true devotee, this is on my page 137, is the one who loves Bhagavan for Bhagavan, without guna rahitam, without wanting anything, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic desire. Kamana rahitam, guna rahitam, without any kind of desire for otherness or any other thing but Bhagavan. Pratikshana vardhaman, the one whose love for Bhagavan always grows new and develops and evolves. Avichinnam, the one whose love for Bhagavan is unbroken. No matter what the circumstances, that love still continues. Sukshmataram, whose love for Bhagavan pervades all beings, Anubhava Rupa, and who experiences this for their very own selves. So one becomes a true bhakta. Who is a true bhakta? The one who doesn't desire anything else but Bhagavan. That's called true bhakta. And what if I want to become a true bhakta, but I still have these kinds of desires in the world? What do I do? So remember what I told you? 4 plus 1. Let us say I want to be this bhakta who doesn't have any other desires. I just want to desire God, but it's not happening. It's not happening. These desires for the world are coming in my heart. Then when I pray, I must first ask for 4 selfless desires. 4 selfless desires. Then the 5th one can be my own personal desire. Then if we pray this way, slowly we will forget the 5th one. That's the idea. Slowly we'll forget the 5th one and we will just keep praying for others or for Bhagavan himself. Sapreshtam labhate. One gains Bhagavan. Who is that Preshta we just saw in this earlier sutra? Trisatyasya, the one who is beyond all 3 periods of time, 3 states, 3 bodies. That Bhagavan labhyate. That Bhagavan is gained. How is that Bhagavan gained? In Sutra 40, Bhagavan is gained tat kripaya eva, only by grace. So I want to become a bhakta. But how? What do I do? It's only by grace. But how will grace come? Remember, our only dharma is to open ourselves up, because grace is always there. It is everywhere, all the time. But because we're closed, that grace is unable to penetrate, not able to come in. But the minute that we keep opening our hearts up, opening our minds out, just keep opening ourselves, all the grace will come. And all the grace will come, and that realization of Bhagavan as our very own self will dawn. And that is the ultimate form of Bhakti. Right? So this is Naradaji's message. Love, love, love. Keep Bhagavan in our hearts, keep Bhagavan in our lives, keep Bhagavan so close that we become one with Bhagavan. And stay on the path always. Right? So we'll just take a moment to thank Naradaji for giving us a chance to study this beautiful Shastra, Bhakti Shastra. Thank Bhagavan, Puja Gurudev, and of course all of you for being here to just revel in Bhakti. We'll say the closing prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.